Hello, it is Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Saturday crossword today, which means we're going to be solving what may be a particularly difficult themeless crossword, maybe the toughest of the week. And this potentially tricky edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Daily Buzzard, Mike from Vermont, as always, the indomitable Shulmaster, and a new benefactor. So welcome to Gita Karudi, who is just signed up to help support this channel day in, day out as a benefactor, which means they'll be receiving the Daily Solve official mug, the Let's Check the Crosses mug. So hopefully many delicious beverages will be enjoyed in that when it arrives. And thank you to Gita for joining the Patreon campaign as a benefactor and supporting this channel. That is what the benefactors and the patrons more broadly do. They keep this whole thing going. I'm very grateful to that. So thank you to those but also thank you to everybody who's a patron of the channel. And if you'd like to become one yourself, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve. Click the link in the description field underneath the video as well. That will take you to the page where you can find all of the bonus videos available to patrons, such as this week's mini puzzle pseudo speed solve, a week recent quick cryptic crossword puzzle solved up on there, and of course, as I said, for benefactors, the official mug. Thank you again to those benefactors, and welcome to Gita Karudi. All right, and there's also the Daily Solve Discord chat server you can join via a description field link, and it's a nice friendly chat community. And finally, it's also a help if you subscribe on YouTube, like the videos, comment if you feel so moved, and so on. All right, let's get on to the crossword. This is a collaboration by Carolyn Davies Lynch, whose debut I believe this is today, and Jeff Chen, whose debut it very much isn't. He's an incredibly experienced constructor with over 150 crosswords in the New York Times to his name, so very prolific. And the crossword was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving and see how we can manage today. What's on the up and up? I don't know. Obviously some sort of pun with the question mark. Actually, here's another pun. A little smoke. A little smoke. A cig, maybe, as in a short word for a cigarette, which you could also call a smoke. Let's see if that fits. Angular movement. Angular movement. Not sure. The Emperor Tupac Amaru, for one. Inca, that looks like an Inca name to me. So I think that makes me feel SIG is fairly safe. One's running the world, per Beyonce. Believe it or not, I am out of touch enough. I don't know this firsthand, but if I had to guess with a G in 5 letters here, it would be girls. Let's just try it and see if I can confirm or deny. Classic symbol of purity and grace. A unicorn. Oh, that's true. Unicorns were incredibly important symbolically to medieval society, and that was some of what they embodied. Angular movement. I don't know why I can't see what this is, but I just can't. Transmitter of audio programs. Mic something, or a micro... I don't think that's right. Panther's home. It could be a school, Carolina, maybe? I was trying to think of what would fit in 8 letters with a C. Oh, no, but it would need to be North or South Carolina, so maybe not. Okay, lunar blank. Lunar rovers. I don't think that's right. Lunar, it's not going to be Lunar New Year. Lunar economy-based calculation for short. GDP, GNP. There are probably more possibilities here than are worth trying to guess at with no crosses. Evidence in a criminal case, maybe. Evidence in a criminal case, maybe. Forensics, or something about blood, or testimony of some kind, or I can't think what would fit here. Greek word for knowledge. It's something like, it's going to start with a G. It's going to be, because it's like Gnostic, it'll be something like going to start with this. I'm not sure how it's going to end. Economy-based G is surprising though, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Economy-based calculation with a G. I really thought it was going to end with an R. Oh no, it wouldn't have. Never mind. It's silly to think it ever would have ended with an R because unicorn has an N there. So never mind. I'm just on the wrong track. Transmitter of audio programs. Oh, BBC Radio. Oh, okay. Right. Didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to be I didn't think it was going to be a proper noun. I thought it was going to be a device or something. Nope, absolutely not. I was misdirected. You have to look out for that, especially on these themeless days. So there we go. BBC Radio certainly does transmit audio programs. So cubism, an angular movement in the sense of an artistic movement. So, movement in the sense of an era or a trend. Okay, that was another bit of clever misdirection, which I should have expected because there's a question mark here, indicating a pun. Test drives. Trial runs. Yeah, that's straightforward, I think. No cleverness there, just ordinary definition. Panther's home. Maybe it is Carolina. I wonder if there's a school from either North or South Carolina that's simply referred to as Carolina familiarly. I don't actually, it just feels like it, I want it to be right, and I couldn't tell you why, but I must have heard this at some point. Let's just see if it actually works. Sir George, I think this is probably Georg, who conducted 999 Chicago Symphony concerts. I think this is Solti, the conductor. I hope I'm not misremembering that name, but I believe this is the case. So let's look at the downs and see if that's right. A lunar module, as in a lunar lander module, presumably. I can't remember which bit the lunar module is. I think it's the lander from that breaks off from the spacecraft, or that's sent down by the spacecraft. Evidence in a criminal case may be fingerprints. Right, that's straightforward. Oh, economy-based calculation is miles per gallon. So this is economy in the sense of economizing. So you want to know how economical or how money-saving or how efficient the car is going to be. So how many miles per gallon it uses in fuel. All right, there we go. Well, how many miles per gallon it receives from the fuel it uses, I should say. Anyway, off less. Yes, you're taking 10 off. You're taking 10 less than what's listed on the price. So, okay, gnosis. There we go. That's the Greek word for knowledge. Okay, good. That was the suffix I was looking for. And we've gotten there eventually. All right. So what about this? Blank steak, dish lightly seared on the outside and raw in the middle. Ahi, a tuna steak. It's often prepared that way. In fact, possibly most frequently. And a cannabis product sometimes found in granola. Hemp? Is hemp sometimes found in granola? I didn't really know that, if true, but I feel with 4 letters starting with an H, it's hard to imagine what else this would be. But I don't know, maybe it is something else. We'll find out soon enough. I think it's probably that. To bring in could be to reap, as in a crop, or maybe even consequences or money or something. Might be something else, but let's leave it there for now. Economize, to skimp. As if you tell someone don't skimp, you're sort of saying don't economize, don't save on it, just lavish it out. Okay, what it's not in a saying. What it's not brain surgery? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing about this clue that tells us that, as far as I can tell, in my reading, there's nothing that suggests what the actual meaning of the saying is. It's just that it is a saying in which something is said to not be it. And one of those is, it's not brain surgery, when you say to describe something that's not ultimately all that difficult or complex. Yeah, probably not complex. It could still be difficult, but maybe just not sort of intellectually challenging. Okay, cries of sheer terror. Baas, because a sheep is sheared, and it might be terrified of someone coming to shear it. So it cries out, it baas. And we've spelled shear in the manner of shearing a sheep, rather than sheer terror in the sense of abject terror. All right, to develop feelings for someone would be to take to them. to develop a fondness, and an internal lie detector, so to speak. A BS radar, maybe? Could be meter. Halley's Comet, it is meter, okay. Because Halley's Comet is seen to some as an omen. When I forget how many years it is, it's sort of period or whatever it is of Halley's Comet. It's a fairly high number, 80 years or maybe more. I can't remember. Maybe it's less than that. I don't know. Anyway, some people see it as an omen, I guess. Vegetable that's baked, fried, or roasted. You could serve okra any of those ways, and with 4 letters starting with an O, I think that is what we'll do. What it's not in a saying. Oh, it's not rocket science. Oh, yeah, okay. So the companion phrase to it's not brain surgery is it's not rocket science. Well, now that we have both of these in here, there's a great sketch. It came to mind when I saw this one, but there's a really good sketch by David Mitchell and Robert Webb in their old sketch comedy show, that Mitchell and Webb look, involving the phrase, it's not rocket science. And anyway, they're really good in general, but it's worth seeking out that skit. Okay. Keep one's beginning goals modest. To keep one's beginning goals modest. I think it's going to be something to something there. That looks like, it could be wrong, but this looks like this will be a separating word. Keep one's beginning goals modest. I don't know. I can't think. That's annoying. Wish I could just get that. Compatriot, paisano, so a countryman. And this word, there were similar words to this in various European languages, and it deals with someone literally of the country. Is often a root dealing with country. So a word often used to mean a peasant because someone of the countryside, but also could be a compatriot. Okay, keep one's beginning goals modest. Do I think I have any? I guess this isn't. Maybe this too is part of a larger word. I don't know. I still can't see it. Third grade groups, ? Not sure. King Lear's middle daughter, Regan. It can be radiant or magnetic. Radiant energy, magnetic energy. Is that true? Are those forms of actual energy? I think that's probably right. It sounds right. Radiant energy, magnetic energy. It sounds plausible to me. So here we have literary character whose name translates to no one. Oh, that's Nemo from Jules Verne, The Mysterious Island, and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Really, really interesting character who was sort of, in the modern parlance, you could say, kind of retconned into a really interesting sort of broadly kind of anti-colonial character in Verne's second novel involving this character. Really fascinating. Okay, third grade groups. Creams? Is that the answer? What am I missing here? As in cream of the crop? What does that mean? Third grade, does that mean? Well, it'll end with, maybe that's wrong, but it'll end with S, surely. Highlighters of sorts. Not sure offhand. Let's look at this again. Keep one's beginning goals modest. Oh, no, this isn't creams. It's C teams. It's start out small. To keep your beginning goals modest would be to start out small. And then here our third grade groups are C teams. So first you could say the highest grade, the first grade would be the A team, then the B team, then the C team in terms of your first stringers, your second stringers, your third stringers. In a match or something. All right, well, good. There we go. So storm on the horizon, maybe. Cloudy sky, maybe. Storm on the horizon. There's a storm on the horizon, maybe. There's a cloudy sky. Yeah, that works. You could substitute that in. Certain clubhouse. I'm not sure. Licenses, perhaps. okays. If you license someone to do something, you okay them to do it. That could be it. Oh, Elk Club. This is a membership organization, the Elks. Um, sort of civic organization. So Elk, certain clubhouse, Elk Lodge. I don't know what they call. I don't know what the Elks call their. It's a singular, so it couldn't be lodges. I don't know what they call their houses, their clubhouses. Cannabis with a, oh, here's a second cannabis club. Cannabis with a high level of THC. Um, is it Kush? I think that's plausible, at least. What about, let's just check some crosses. Korean model hitting the scene in 1999. Korean. Kia is a Korean make, isn't it? Kia. Often in the same way that carrier often specifically refers to air carriers, model often refers to automobile model. Not always, but it often does. But I can't think what this is. I bet it starts with Kia though. So one way to wonder, you could idly wonder something. That would be one way to wonder something, idly. So elk, I don't know. It may leave you speechless. Shyness might leave you speechless. It might prevent you from speaking in a crowd. To gently apply as concealer. Maybe cloudy sky is wrong. I would have assumed this to be dab on or pat on or something. So what did this say again? Storm on the horizon, maybe. Cloud. A storm on the horizon. A cloud. I don't know. Certain clubhouse. Elks. Oh, maybe it's Elks Lodge, as in the possessive. Right. I hadn't considered that possibility, but I think that might be right. It's our Elks Lodge. It's our clubhouse. Yeah, I think that works. So yeah, this is. The other crosses look okay. Gently applies concealer. Many crosswords. Question mark. So do I think this is referring to cross as in angry, or cross as in, the symbol, literal cross, or cross as in, to betray someone, or, to cross them in that sense? I don't know. Oh, I see. The surface read is supposed to mean a crossword, like what we're solving right now. And then the question mark says, no, don't read it that way. So it's probably just anger. It's probably the simpler version of it, but I don't actually know that. Okay, they're not only human. They're not only human. Demigods or something? They're not only human. Cyborgs? Not sure. Feeds. It's a plan. I'm running out of useful short potential answers in here. Venue for many TV reruns. I don't know what that's asking for at all, really. Okay, not great. But I won't get any more help for this corner, so I do need to solve it. So it's not really any point looking elsewhere, unless I just get completely stuck and then I just have no choice. Feeds. Storm on the horizon, maybe. Cloud 9. I'm just trying to think of anything that would fit in here. Okay, so if this were gently apply as a concealer, if this were dab on, which I want it to be, does that help me with this? Storm on the horizon. Cloud Bane. Cloud Ball? That doesn't, none of this sounds correct to me. But this feels like what this would be. You gently apply concealer, you dab it on. I mean, that just sounds, what else is going to fit in there with an A in the second letter? It's a plan. It's a plan. They're not only human. Feeds. Really sorry about this. Many crosswords. Cloud bank. That's a thing, and might augur a storm on the horizon, perhaps. Many crosswords. A tirade. That would be angry words. Would be a tirade. Kia Rio, I think that sounds sort of familiar now that I have the R. Kia Rio, that could be right. They're not only human. Things? I don't really know why that doesn't make any sense particularly. It's a plan. Oh, a diet is a plan, a nutritional plan. Human beings. Why is that they're not only human? Oh, because you could have beings that aren't humans. You could have human beings, but you could have other kinds of beings, like other creatures that aren't human. Okay, fair enough, fine. And then venue for many TV reruns. Does TBS, this looks like TBS, do they show reruns? They must. Feed, yes, as in feeds a fire, stokes a fire. There we go, that's it, good. Oof, tough corner for me. Fiddle with, to fiddle with something is to toy with it. Prefix with second, nanosecond. Trying to think if there are other possibilities that would fit there. With an O, that's my first guess. Let's just see. Like zombies and some loves. Undying. There we go. I like that. That was helpful having that N there. Undying love, or obviously zombies are undead, is how they're described. Cap, but not a hat. Cap, but not a hat. A limit. A limit is a cap on salary, for instance, but it isn't a hat. Major street in New York City or New Orleans. Major street in New York City or New Orleans. I've actually never been to New Orleans. I've been to New York. I mean, I've spent quite a lot of time in New York, but I don't know New Orleans. In 5 letters ending with an L. There's definitely a Canal Street in New York City, and I think there might be. That sort of sounds familiar in New Orleans. It's a thing people talk about with respect to something. I couldn't tell you, but I think I've heard it referenced. I bet that's the answer. Let's see if that works with anything. Fixture on a frozen lake. Fixture on a frozen lake. Fixture on a frozen lake. An ice. Something about an ice rink, an ice hut. So for fishing, that's what that is, right? You have an ice hut, and then you have a hole in it, and you sit in the hut, and you literally fish through the ice. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's right. Victor's Crow, I won or I win or something like that. Oops. Major. Oh right, canal. Yeah, this is canal. I'm confident now with that C. Okay. Actor Damon Sr. or Damon Jr. Wayans, the one of the Wayans brothers is named Damon and has either a father or a son. I actually don't know if the Damon brothers, if the Wayans brothers have, I don't know which generational side they're on of this. Okay, well, anyway, this is the answer. It doesn't really matter. Oh, eyeliners, this is. Highlighters of sorts, yes. Okay, you could highlight your sort of shape of your eye with eyeliners. Eyeliner. Pass on a wing and a prayer. Hail Mary, there we go. So people often refer to a, Hail Mary pass, a kind of last-ditch effort. And then organization that checks what you don't, TSA. Right, in the sense, checks what you do. Oh, I see, because you didn't check this luggage. You didn't check it into the hold of the aircraft. Therefore, it's going to be inspected by the Transportation Security Agency, I guess. People of the Iroquois Confederation, the Oneida, I do recognize that. And then Victor's Crow, it is I won, not I win. In an intimate way, in a way, carnally. So, having sort of intimate knowledge of someone in a way, in a kind of suggestive way there. Issa, who created Awkward Black Girl, that's Issa Rae, who also created Insecure, HBO show, which is very good. Pucker precipitators at a pub. Pucker precipitators. Something sour, like a sour cocktails or something? Pucker precipitators at a pub. I'm not sure I know what this is. Like a whiskey sour or something? I'm not sure. Arrive with great hype. To arrive with great hype is to... If someone's really hyped up, they're hot. Could something about... I don't know. Does that give me anything here? Whatevs. Yeah, it could be. Nah, whatevs. It was so-so. Movie that's not expected to be a blockbuster. Something film, a B film. I don't know why that would be the case. I mean, you'd have to spell it out like this, which that's not really how it's spelled. Let's loose foists or don't know. Endnote abbreviation meaning same as before. I think IBID is that. I don't remember what this is, and I'm sure this has some literal Latin meaning. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it does just mean that. Anyway, aid in focusing a lens with of your eye or a camera or something. Oh, beers. Oh, sour beers. I was on the right track with sour, but I was looking for a completely different kind of it. There we go. Okay, and I was thinking pub would be a weird way to clue a cocktail. I mean, obviously you can order a cocktail at a pub, but it's not really what it's associated with. Okay, arrive with great hype. To come in hot. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow, that's funny because that actually wasn't at all why I thought hot would be the word there. I thought it was going to be something that's like, a big hot, big hot artist or something, someone who's really hyped up. But that wasn't actually was not actually the meaning. I sort of just got lucky there, I suppose. Roots. Origins, roots. Or roots around as in searches, that could be the case. What about this one? Freeze. Oh, let someone loose, you free them. That was obvious and I didn't think of it. So roots. Still not sure. Common Scandinavian man's name. Lars, maybe? There are probably a number of possibilities here. What's on the up and up? I was thinking of roots like escalator and so on, but then I realized I can't think of any word that uses that fits. Movie that's not expected to be a blockbuster. College assignment. You could be assigned a roommate or a roomie. Oh, art film. An art film wouldn't be expected to be a blockbuster, of course. Okay, there we go. Take an unplanned trip. Tumble, as in to trip and fall. That's right. Roots. Oh, embeds, as in you could root yourself within a community. You could embed yourself within it. I think that's probably right. And then common Scandinavian man's name. Oh, Nils. There we go. Not what I was thinking, but also equally plausible. And what's on the up and up ascent, and then ball holder is a tee, right? Like a golf tee. And that's it. Pretty tricky puzzle. I found it tricky anyway, particularly, was it down here? Yes, it was this corner, this tirade, this dab on. Well, dab on I sort of suspected, but for some reason didn't put in for a while. But tirade beings, Stokes, Kia Rio, Diet, TBS, this whole little corner, for some reason I just found very difficult. No idea whether I would expect that to be the same difficult section for someone else. But it's just, for some reason, I just could not make the leap to these for quite some time. Some interesting knowledge in here. We had some Shakespeare. We had a famed conductor, an orchestra conductor. We had Greek words. We had Latin, I suppose, as well. I think IBID is Latin. We had geographical knowledge with respect to urban knowledge, I suppose, with respect to two cities. Just all kinds of things throughout this puzzle. I suppose that's what you get on a Saturday, very wide-ranging. Oh, and then we had this really nice, almost theme-like crossing of brain surgery and rocket science. So that was very good. And I think, actually, now that I look at it, this puzzle it's taller than it is wide. Is that right? It is. Yeah, it's 16 cells tall and 15 cells wide. I only just noticed that because I was thinking brain surgery is centered. You can see it's directly in the center of the grid with respect to the horizontal span, whereas rocket science isn't. Rocket science and start out small, they straddle the kind of central axis of the grid. And I just thought, well, that's strange. Usually these puzzles are square, but not in this case. Maybe it was to allow brain surgery to fit and provide for this cross. But there we have it. Anyway, that was the Saturday Themeless crossword. And And that's that. I do have some clues from yesterday's puzzle. There were actually several comments, so I can get to those now. Let's do so. Read these fairly quickly because there were a fair handful. Time Gentleman, thanks for this. Sorry to report, Chris, you've always been prone to regular typos. I remember commenting on an early video that if you spent 1 to 2 seconds after entering each answer checking for typos, you'd probably save time overall by not getting thrown off by false crosses or having to go back and search through the whole thing at the end. That, I'm sure you're right. It's exactly the kind of thing I would decide to do, completely forget to do, and then make no improvement. But I'll try and remember. I'll try and remember that. Okay, Ray Ridley explains, the origin of the name Argos for the chain of UK catalog stores is simply that it was from the name of the Greek city, Argos. The original owner, Richard Tompkins, had previously introduced green shield stamps back in the 60s, whereby you collected stamps through regular purchases at grocery stores, petrol stations, etc., and used them to obtain goods from stores called the Green Shield Stamp Gift House. He then came up with the idea that customers could buy items with cash rather than stamps and rebranded all the Green Shield stores as Argos. The first one opened in July 1973, and they're currently owned by the Sainsbury's chain. Perhaps Mr. Tompkins had holidayed in Argos previously. Who knows? Indeed, who knows? And then, let's see. I think... Oh, no, never mind. I must not have saved that comment. Anyway, this is a long comment, so let's see if I can paraphrase it. Jacob Bodway says, resident Jew here to explain Purim. The Megillah tells the story of Esther and her cousin Mordecai and their joint venture to save the Jews of Persia. It's a long and wild story, but in summary, an evil advisor named Haman. It's traditional to boo and spin noisemakers whenever he's mentioned in the retelling, wishes to exterminate the Jews in his jurisdiction, and Mordecai, the leader of the Jews, appeals to Esther, his cousin and also the king's wife, though her religion starts as a secret, to petition the king to save them. Hijinks ensue, and eventually Haman ends up upon the very gallows he has constructed to hang Mordecai. We all rejoice with a carnival at the survival of the Jews. 2 additional facts. The food associated with Purim are small triangular filled cookies, often chocolate or filled with apricot or raspberry jam, called hamantashins, which represent the 3-cornered hat Haman wears in the myth, and so we're eating his head in celebration. Second, the holiday falls on the 14th day of Adar, a month in the Hebrew calendar, which typically falls in March, e.g. March 7th last year. And as I'm born on March 7th, my entire youth was spent bringing very confused non-Jewish friends to Purim carnivals at my synagogue for my birthday party. Very good. One of those unfortunate, I don't know, accidents of fate. Brian Parente says, Chris, I think you probably missed the reference in 56 Across, Seattle Slew with a question mark. Seattle Slew is the name of a famous racehorse who won the Triple Crown of the thoroughbred racing in the 1970s and went on to sire many other successful horse lineages. Horse racing fans certainly know the name, and general sports fans may have heard it in passing. I definitely did not. I didn't know that at all. So anyway, and then finally, another comment on Seattle from Dragon Traces, who points out Seattle was named after an individual, Chief Seattle, which is not a very accurate rendition of his pronunciation of his name. We call his people Duwamish, again, a dubious rendition of their actual name. That's unfortunate that I didn't remember that, because I've certainly encountered that information before, and it completely slid off my brain, which is not to my credit. So anyway, there we go. Thank you for the correction. And that was a marathon there, but we got through it. And so I'll be back tomorrow, of course, for the Sunday crossword, a big jumbo themed grid for Sunday. Join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.